I feel so rusty. I haven't been doing reviews for been years, 84 years. Kind of. It feels that way. I don't know what to say. Well, hello there everyone. This is the Cool Factor. Mike here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got the 75335 BD-1. Now Mike, why would you review this guy in 2023? This is not a very relevant or fresh set or whatever. Guess what? Because I just built it and this thing just happened to be next to me as I'm testing the new setup. Welcome to the Cool Factor. 1062 pieces. How much did we pay for it? Line $60. Yeah, right, 60. I was $100. Can you believe it? Anyway, as a big fan of the Jedi Fallen Order, I approve of this guy. It's a great desk companion, as you can see. Quite articulate in its movement. It has some flaws. It's not perfect, but it's the best we can get. It's the first Jedi Fallen Order set as well. Can't complain. And I just noticed this thing didn't have the properly aligned panel elements here, so it kind of looked weird, like hello. Anyway, the build process for this guy is pretty straightforward. There's not really much to be too crazy about. Technic legs, obviously, for the rigidity, all that jazz. But the fun fact, or maybe not so fun fact, is that you don't really get any sort of lore to begin with. Nothing to explain who BD-1 is, or nothing about the Jedi Fallen Order game, or Cal Kestis. Nothing. It's a pretty plain manual, and yeah, I don't really like that design, as you know already. The plaque obviously is not printed. The UCS style plaque has all the information you need with the manufacturer, all his functions and primary equipment. The BD-1 minifigure or micro figurine, whatever you want to call it, first time in this color scheme for the BD-1 from the actual game. We also had the same mold in the Mandalorian and one Starfighter. I am quite pleased with how much of a volume of a droid we're getting, so he's much more substantial and big guy looking than say the BD-1 droid, which was just like a tiny little display piece, and of course the droid itself was much smaller. The BD-1 just takes more space, and it's a good thing. It's not like he's super big or anything, it just is much more noticeable on display. I do like the leg design. You can see how sturdy and solid they are. There's plenty of just footprint to hold him in a place, just big feet overall, so he will never almost fall over. That is quite significant. It's an easy build overall, but definitely this is the part where I was surprised how just big of a volume of the foot you have here. We have some great usage of the whip elements on the legs of the droid. They just, over time they're gonna probably deform their natural shape, but I mean, I don't care as much. They're not super expensive pieces. It's just the fact that I use the gold whip and the black whip to just create some of the electrical wiring. It's just super cool, and you get some of the Technic pins to hold in place. I think that's a great little detail. Paneling is actually also an interesting build. Those elements are built kind of separately from the legs, so you build the skeleton for the legs first, from the Technic elements, and all the paneling is built after and added to the legs. And also the grip link is the last piece you add, like those pistons, for example, some hydraulic pieces, and it's all like kind of separate. So just like the way they designed it, it's super sturdy and it gives a lot to the looks, so I really like that. The torso is also a separate build and quite interesting. Believe me or not, my 5-year-old actually did the whole torso by herself, so that's pretty awesome. And there's just a lot of studs on the side techniques, all these panels and gribbles you add to the kind of more dense structure inside. Interesting use here is for those ratcheted joints that are kind of sideways, and I don't think I've seen that piece before in such a nice use here, but it allows the droid body to be moved sideways to align the head positioning. I think it's a good spot to show the functions of the droid. So I was mentioning that there is no rotation in the head, so that's something you won't like. Many people will not like. I'm not sure if the BD-1 actually has some sort of head rotation in the game. I have to check this one again, but you just only get the side tilting of the head, which is, you can get some really cool, like cute looks of the droid. He's just like a cute little, puppy dog, just looking with curiosity or interest. Anyway, the joints are mentioned. They just allow you to kind of position the legs and switch the torso to a different positioning like that. You can also do it like this, kind of like a funny little pose. So he has his legs a little bit more, in a different fashion like that. But there is not much other movement here. There are no joints. So no knee joints whatsoever. This is all just sturdy technique. There's just like a single angle here, which just, it's a compromise between making the droid sturdy. Like, he's still like a bit of a wobbly head. Like you can put it on your car dashboard, and probably he's gonna serve just as fine as a wobbly head for sure. But I guess it's a fine compromise to just allow the structure of the droid to be somewhat, you know, solid, sturdy, robust in a way, but also to just put it on your shelf in any position you kind of like, to make him a little bit more, you know, funny looking or whatever. Also, just forgot to mention that the head is also up and down rotating, so there's plenty of movement. Not each axis is available, but plenty of positions you can figure out. I really like how the head works and looks like. Those flaps I kind of messed up in the intro, you can kind of like do it like that, but of course they have to be this way. Some great build for the eyes, all that jazz. Function here, of course, the hidden Steam Pack launcher, or in that case container. It doesn't really launch anything in this case, but you can just gonna try to get them out. They're not the easiest to get out, so I'm gonna try to see if there's an easy way to do it. Okay, not an easy way to do it. You actually have to flip the droid to get access to those containers, but look at this little piece. It's actually connected in 3 packs, so you can really separate them, but just a nice little representation of the Steam Pack that, get the focus right, to heal Cal in the game. And kind of like feature that you cannot omit while playing the game. Also, the back is really fun built with that moving, you know, full of LEDs screen of sorts that the droid uses to show his stance, his behavior, his communication. It's a really nice representation with 2 tones of translucent blue in that kind of like irregular fashion. And you can also adjust the angle of his communication antennas, which is nice. And the color scheme, of course, for the BD-1, the red and white looks great throughout the head. You have some asymmetry here. There's like a diode or an LED on the left side, which is not present on the right side. There's just some tiling in here, but there's enough kind of asymmetry, different looks that makes the head build somewhat interesting. It's pretty well done. It's, I think, the most enjoyable part of the build because there's not much technique involved here. You just connect it to the torso and you get the cool effect of finished droid. So I like the head actually the most and looks the best. All in all, I'm pleased with the little guy. Just a great display set. I absolutely gonna have him proudly near me at all times, and to be frank, he is, I think at this point, my favorite droid to have in my collection. I do have the R2, I do have the BD-1, I have the Yodas. They're not really droids, but you get the idea of these playable Star Wars characters. The BD-1 just has some charm to it, and just the looks are there, and I'm not really super concerned about the lack of functions or, you know, too much of a posability. There's enough posability for me to like, and also just enough detail to make it look great and make a little wow sound from probably people who enter my studio and see this guy on display. This guy looks pretty darn awesome. I mean, how much can you ask for a Lego BD-1? First thing, we just should be happy that there is a Jedi Fallen. Look at this wobbliness. There's a Jedi Fallen Order set in Lego with an actual BD-1. When the Jedi Survivor comes out this year, I hope there's gonna be more sets to follow. Man, this table is wobbly, so I have not figured out yet how wobbly it is. But this guy is just your wobbly head on your desk. It's gonna just like agree to everything you do and everything you say. The head articulation could have been more like, would be cool to turn it. It has like, you know, the tilting function. The only way to turn it again is just by rearranging the joints for the legs, so you can just turn the torso and the head is aligned with the torso. But come on, it's a display piece. There is not much to play with. It's just a nerdy item that is gonna be just showing off to your friends who happen to be Star Wars fans and come to your studio, and they're gonna just love that this thing is on your desk, on your shelf, anywhere. And it's just the cutest droid in the whole universe. Come on, R2-D2, this guy is coming for your spot, or the BO droid, or the BB-8. The BD-1 just, sorry, like it takes the hearts like by storm. Is it worth $100? Absolutely yes, if you're a fan of the game. I feel that for the price, you get a decent little droid. It's on par with other, you know, things from Star Wars when it comes to display characters, but this is the one that I actually enjoyed building the most. The BD-1 was cool. The Yoda was atrocious to build. Both Baby Yoda and the actual Yoda builds were just so boring with all the tan stuff and stacking plates. This felt a little more interesting, and my 5-year-old helped me with that, so that's another nod of approval. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this comeback review of the Cool Factor. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.